finally happened after 8 games and a showing of lackluster fan support. The AAF folded, leaving hundreds of players totally screwed, totally fucked, because, well, they didn't think they were going to be cut mid-season without any sort of money or plans. But that isn't even the most exciting thing that's happened in the past 24 hours or however long it's been. The AAF stuff is sad, and I'm not happy it happened, obviously. It's good for a few guys who are signing NFL contracts. Like, I think a dude went to the Steelers and the Rams, maybe. I'm not sure. The Steelers for sure signed someone. There's some guys, like, what's his name? Gilbert, the quarterback, is a solid player. He'll play in the NFL somewhere. But the most exciting story for me has been the Green Bay Packers drama, because in my humble opinion, from just watching his body language and hearing about how he acts and talking to folks in Green Bay, the guy's a major tool. He is he's got weird issues with people not liking him enough or not feeling like he's good enough. And so he just, like, lashes out and shuts down and, like, does not handle criticism well. And if you're the quarterback of an NFL team and you're the franchise quarterback and you have a difficult time communicating with your teammates what you're not doing right, what they're not doing right, there's going to be just chaos. There's going to be chaos. And maybe if you win games, maybe if you're talented enough where you can make the audibles in the field. Like, I read that Aaron Rodgers was audibling, or was changing plays a third of the time on the field. How insane is that? That you, I mean, just pay your coach, pay your offensive coordinators, just dock their salary by a third, 33%, because they're not doing shit. And just like to see how everything has fallen there, and just to see their coaches, leave, and to hear that they were having massages during meetings or missing meetings for massages. There's a tongue twister if I've ever heard one. It just is so funny. It's so funny to me. And, like, obviously, I don't want people to be in turmoil and, like, miserable. But if you're an NFL player and you can't play nice with your other NFL friends who are all making millions and millions of dollars over the course of their careers, I mean, not everyone, but you get what I mean. I have little room for sympathy for you. Little room for sympathy for Aaron Rodgers and his teammates. And then you hear these guys coming on and like, well, like James Jones, the old wide receiver, he was like, on Twitter, he goes, well, those are just opinions people had. And he doesn't say that they're wrong. He doesn't really defend them. I mean, guys like John Kuhn and his linemen and his receivers defended him. Devontae Adams or whoever it was. But, like, if you're in, like, a secondary or tertiary role to Aaron Rodgers as he sees himself on the team, you know, he's the Zeus of Green Bay. And so if you're not making him Zeus by blocking for him or catching passes or whatever, you're on his shit list. Could you imagine playing for a team like that where your leader, the guy who everyone is being built around, is incapable of handling any sort of conflict at all? I just don't know. And maybe Aaron Rodgers is just such a good player, and he's had such talent around him, guys who would make the catch, like Jordy Nelson, James Jones. I'm trying to think of it, and honestly, there's been a lot more bad players for the Packers over the past 2 or 3 years than good players. But you get what I'm trying to say, and that maybe he's carried them with his talent despite being a total piece of shit. I don't know. The Rodgers family is just so, between him and his estranged family and how much shit they talk about him, and me not knowing because I live in Detroit. I don't live in Green Bay. I don't talk to people about Green Bay stuff. I just have this, like, outside, you know, proximal. I'm close because we play Green Bay twice a year. I like Green Bay as a city. I like the team. I really do. I just don't like Aaron Rodgers. you know, in a totally just like talking shit kind of way. I'm sure if I saw the guy, I'm sure he's not a bad person. I'm sure just like everything gets exaggerated because they're athletes, right? Maybe that's why. But to see this go down, I gotta say, it's caught my attention more than the tragedy of the AAF collapsing. And just there's one guy, I forget his name. He broke his arm in the last game of their season, which is not the last game that was supposed to, you know, that was before his contract wasn't up. And he's like, yeah, I got a broken arm and no job and nowhere to live. Like, part of me says, you know what, you knew it wouldn't be a guaranteed bet. So, like, I don't have that much. From a business perspective, I have no sympathy for him. But from, like, a person-to-person perspective, man, that sucks. That's so bad. Maybe some of you think it's wrong to compartmentalize business from personal, but you've never ran a business if you think that. That's a fact. That's the only news I can think of today. The two big things football-wise were definitely the AAF and the Packers. Big shout out to Stephen A. Smith, too, for signing a $10 million contract. You say some dumb shit, but you know what? You're a hard worker, and we got to remember that. We got to remember that in this time when anyone can put their opinions in front of a million people. You don't have to agree with someone to respect their hustle, especially if it's sports. Like, this shit doesn't matter at all. See you guys later.